This is ContactTalkRadio.com. Consciousness in action. And you are taking action into your consciousness by tuning into Contact Talk Radio.
And on TuneIn.com, Hing.fm, and UpSnap Mobile.
Contact Talk Radio.
Welcome to Transformation with Tara Sutphen. Tara Sutphen is the author of Blame It on Your Past Lives and Soul Agreements. 3 audio CD series, metaphysical meditations, sourcing series, and sleep programming. Tara has also collaborated with Emmy Award-winning Shane Stanley and Marla Maples on numerous DVDs. Tara Sutphen is a master in the psychic sciences. If you'd like to find out more about Tara's work, upcoming seminars, and meditations to help you fulfill your dreams, visit her website at tarasutphen.com.
Welcome to Transformations with Tara. This is Tara Sutphen. And my guest today is Jason, the tarot wizard. He is Om Dog. I call him Om Dog. And he is my brother. And he became a wizard many years ago because I took him through psychic boot camp. And he was just a natural. And who would have known when he was young that he was such a natural? But he is the producer and a musician and a singer of the Om, and he has sold over 1 million copies throughout the world of one particular MP3 CD, but then there is also he has just a whole range of others, and you can find those on his website at Jason D. McKean, McKean.com, or .com, right, Jason?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me this morning.
Yeah, thank you for being on the show, Jace. And I always love to have Jason on the show because, we we're interested in the same topics, and it makes for easy conversation. We love to include you. And you guys can all call in if you'd like. The number for the call-in is 844-390-8255. And that's talk, TALK, 8255. So it's 844-390-talk. So, yeah, Jace, I just got back from Sedona.
Sedona, Arizona. And you did a mystic training, right?
Mm-hmm. It was amazing.
What
was amazing. Well, I had some New Zealanders who flew in for it, and I shared some pictures on Instagram and so on, of some of that because it's it's fun for them, the New Zealanders too. We went for a Halloween hike. Chris Starbuck, he took us for a Halloween hike.
And so that was on Monday?
That was on Monday night.
Yeah.
We went for the night hike. We hiked up to the top of Boynton Canyon.
Wow.
And we went to Kachina Woman Mountain and the Saddleback. Yeah. At probably about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, did a lot of meditation. Everybody kind of dispersed, and there was about 6 of us, so we all dispersed and went, hiking and exploring around, and then there was a guy from Israel, and he was chanting Hebrew from the top of the mountain and singing, and that was really beautiful to witness. And then, it was really just a really sweet, amazing time. And then I didn't worry about, anybody's going to get hurt. Because, I tend to be a little bit like our other brother, Scott, Captain Safety. But, is somebody going to get hurt here, where I'm going to have to handle it, No, and I just said, no, we're going to have a great time. We walk a beautiful life. And so I just thought, I'm going to just put it out there. And it was just so easy coming down the mountain. I don't know what was happening, but it was just the easiest glide. Not missing a step. Nobody even slipped a little. So it was great.
And
it was a little bit.
No moonlight at all, right?
No, it was the new moon.
Yeah.
And so it was really super, super dark. And and just really dark out there because there's no lights or anything. And then actually we didn't come together until it was really, really dark night. So it was like, oh no, is everybody going to get back to our original spot? We made sure we picked up everybody's stuff, even if it was their bottled water, to make sure that, we weren't just, because you couldn't see anything after it went dark.
Sure.
It was pretty wild. But it was it was really the most enchanting Halloween I've had in many years. It was really, really fun.
I read a party this Halloween. I've never read a party before. On Halloween.
On Halloween.
Yeah. And I read, and then there was a seance afterwards that I took part in.
How fun.
And, I've always been a little reticent about Halloween, because everyone is in costume. It's like, I dressed as a wizard, oddly enough, right?
Oddly enough.
And, one is concerned about the proper amount of respect for, the art of reading tarot. And sometimes if someone just thinks that you're in a costume and that's, it's just a gag, right? And it's just like, you want them to take it seriously. So, fortunately, everyone there was very much in the proper mindset, had the proper respect for the process. And so it was a really beautiful evening. And then the seance, it was one where various people could, come into the inner circle there and then, leave if they wanted to, and then someone else would fill the space. So the circle was never broken, right? There was always a full circle there. And I popped in, and then, I was just, kind of getting a lay of the land as far as like the process, how the medium was doing their work there. And it was a friend of mine, a psychic there, Dylan, who's like very, very talented. And he, there was like one reading there. It was just, there was no specific, question being asked. And the letters reminded me of our grandfather, Rudy. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was going to, ask to bring him in, right? But this woman, she went before me, right? Because she wanted to know about her father. And so she says, I'd like to know about my father. His name is Rudy.
Oh, how funny. That's funny.
Yeah. And
that's why you want to bring in Rudy, because you were feeling Rudy.
Definitely Rudy was present, because, the words that were spelled out and all, like the word film was spelled out. Our grandfather was he was a minister, but his hobby was shooting movies, like 16 millimeter movies of Alaska, of his travels in the U.S. He was an avid filmmaker. And
and Abraham Lincoln, he collected everything Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, it's very, very much into Lincoln and the Civil War, which, I mean, I don't know if I got that genetically from him or what, but it's like that has been a passion of mine as well over the years, being a serious student of the Civil War. And so it was like, it would have been like, almost like a double effort, right? Like to say, okay, now I want to do, my grandfather, cause it was like the messaging that was, that came through was very much kind of what I was like looking for, from, that type of, way of connecting with the spirits, right? So it was a really really interesting night. It was a really beautiful night, and
Mhm.
I'm glad that I had that opportunity to for one, like, read when the veil is at its thinnest there between the two worlds.
Oh yeah, that's so exciting. What a great fun time. Maybe we should have one next year in Sedona because I'm always booked in Halloween in Sedona. They had a really big Dia de los Muertos, whole Talakapaki. So everybody was all dressed up for the Day of the Dead.
Wow.
Everybody. Yeah, it was really fun. I mean, it really crowded, but it was really a whole cute thing happening
Hmm.
there. It was
Hmm.
nice. It was really fun. Yeah, yeah.
So
Lots of activity this weekend.
so Sedona was really crowded at that time,
Well,
at Halloween.
at different times. You know, the traffic would get a little funny, but
Yeah.
not bad. You know, not bad usually. I don't find it ever really too bad. I mean, I know how to maybe kind of move around where, I go around things. So,
Hmm. Hmm.
I'll like head to Page Springs and go around to Beaver Flats type of thing to miss town altogether if I have to. Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's those shortcuts and those time zones like you do in LA. You know when to go and when not to go.
With your mystic
So,
trainings, I've found that, it's like when the people all come together, the participants and all that, there's a little bit of, reticence there. Everyone's just kind of new to each other and all. And
yeah.
then as the process begins, it's like everyone just starts warming up to each other. And then by the end of it, everyone is like, it's like family.
Yes, they're family. I do a prayer pact at the beginning of every seminar I do. And with that pact, I've never published that pact. It's part of the mystic training, part of all my trainings.
Yeah.
But that prayer pact brings everybody together. And and then they are incredible together. Everybody, and they're all from different places and have different interests, but they come together and help each other and offer just amazing advice and love and respect and happiness to each other. It's just so much fun. It's just
Hmm.
really,
Hmm.
I mean, I really have a good time.
Yeah, I mean, it's about creating a space where people are exploring their own psychic potential, and if you have people that are kind of like in a space of judgment or whatever about, oh well, you're not psychic, or it's like then it's like it can shut everyone down, right? And it's like
Right.
everyone who I've been in contact when I've done the trainings or other seminars, it's very much about a supportive, open environment where you give what you get, and
Right.
and no one is like judging you as far as like the content of it. Um, so did you have any standout moments there as far as like
We did. We had a really magical moment. We really did. But I just want to say, the group becomes such a nucleus that it's really hard for me to see my other friends in Sedona when I'm there. And I want to see so many friends, and I just can't get there to them because it's just such a nucleus.
right?
They're having so much fun. They're doing so much activity, and I'm taking on field trips, and it's just really a great time. Yeah, I can't, and that's why I keep it small. I limit it to 15 people because I want to be able to do field trips, and we go into other people's homes, and we do all sorts of fun and magical things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So
So,
what was the standout
and it's
moments
really
there?
hard for me to keep them in the classroom because they want to do some fun things. I mean, I didn't get to see Walker this time. I mean, tons of people, tons. So the standout thing that happened this time, I always expect miracles. And this is my expectation is that, I walk a beautiful life. And I mean, I get it. every day some really amazing person I talk to or, experience happens. So, it's a rich life. If you expect a rich life, it happens, and there are disappointments in life. God, just terrible disappointments. But if you can just stay really in the zone that you're not going to step into their stuff, you're going to stay in yours. You're going to stay in your own zone. And then when you do, it is like a creation of really, good life. So what happened there is I do a thing with people as far as moving money. It can be, so in New Zealand, well, I'll give you an example. In New Zealand, I wrote on a $100 U.S. bill and a $1 U.S. bill. And it was between Jules and her work. She has a partner in her shop, Yvonne, and me. So, and then they gave me New Zealand money as well. So we were moving this money, right? It's a movement, because sometimes money stays stale and you have to move it around. And so with the intention, you pray on it, you give it intention, you source on it, and that's what I teach in the Mystic Training a lot. So I wrote on these $100 and a $1 bill. Well, Jules, she put it in with her American money that she collects. So when she comes to America, that she has American money to spend, U.S. dollars.
Yes.
And so she accidentally she's come over, Sedona a couple weeks ago, and she spent this dollar that I had written on. And on it said, T.Y. Jules, and I had spelled her name. Her name is spelled Jules, but I had spelled it Jewels on, on the money.
Yeah.
And so it was Tara, Yvonne, and Jules, but it was thank you, Jules.
Yes, right.
So it was a double. I was putting a little double in it there.
Yes.
Double meaning. So she spent it. It was circulating around Sedona. Don't know how many days. Don't know. And my participant, Gabrielle, from New York, she bought bottled water at her hotel, which didn't have anything to do with anyone, just only Gabrielle. And when I paid for lunch on Saturday, she gave me cash to reimburse me. And she gave me that dollar. It was sitting in front of my face. It was like, oh my God. That money from New Zealand came back to me.
Wow.
Yes. $1. But it came back to me after it circulated Sedona.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And crossed hands. Who knows how many hands? It'd be fun to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just such a source, I source on things. So it was the intention of that dollar and that dollar making its way back to me, Yeah. Yeah, everybody loved it. And I put it in my manual for the training, so I can share it with the different classes.
So are you writing on all of every dollar bill that or
oh yeah, now I'm writing all of it,
like
desecrating the American money. Yeah. The intentions, now it's hundreds.
Yeah.
No, but you can pray on money, you do pray. I always put change in the Buddha's hands, at my altar at home.
Right.
Yeah. And it's
and money is a tool, it's something that one can use for good. They can use it for bad too, but it's something that is dependent on who we are, at our core, as far as how we use it to sustain ourselves in the world.
Yeah, for me, what I feel is that money is like the leaves of trees. It is everywhere. You don't limit yourself. The moment we limit ourselves on anything, limit love, any sort of conditions on money, love, wisdom, happiness, then that's what we get. You don't limit yourself. We open it wide open. It's, so you call it. And that's where you learn the sorcery. Yeah, and it's been a real fun thing. I have so many magical experiences from it. And it's not to, it took a while to kind of hone it. But it's, and it doesn't always happen, because you ask for the highest and best outcome for yourself. So, especially when you source on people, on an actual person, you have to be very careful that, when you're asking for love, that you're not putting a face on who you're sourcing. Because if you ask for the highest and best, you have to expect that that's what's going to come to you is the highest and best for you.
Yeah, sometimes we're surprised in that realm, because we may, start to get focused on one specific person, right? And they may possess qualities that we are kind of looking for, but they may not be the complete package. They may not be that highest and best. They may just be part of it. And so when we get too bogged down with the details, then we muddy up our own process, our own success.
Yes. Yeah, we have to trust the process, that's for sure. There's always, we have to make the movement. I say that you are a clear thinking human, there is no confusion. So, you clear your mind. I do a lot of meditation these days. I've been throughout Asia. I went to Thailand and China and went to a lot of temple. I mean, everything was temples and learning to meditate with different temples and stuff, and different classes. And then, I've taken oneness. I'm a Diksha giver. I was out of the first class that was actually given a certificate here in America. And I've taken TM and done a lot of some of their retreats. And and I was Gurudev's reader this year and that was all Kundalini yoga, which I had done Kundalini yoga years ago because I was strong then, to really strong, and to whereas I had to sit for 6 hours with Gurudev, and it was wonderful as far as, I knew I could do it. I could do the exercises, you have to hold the poses for 31 minutes, some of them. And the thing with holding them is it's opening up different chambers of the brain, I feel, and keys to the universe. And they're an incredible lot, the Sikhs. They're beautiful to work with, and I enjoyed that so much, being a part of all that. And I'm not a Sikh, but I really liked it. So, because it's just the philosophy is great. And it was a healing. Gurudev is probably on the same level as John of God. There's a real healer there. Incredible healer. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So.
When you're meditating, do you find that you're trying to just kind of empty yourself, or are you focusing on certain qualities of that you want to bring into your life?
Well, this is it. What I felt with I did a Vedanta class, which is a great philosophy. I love Vedanta. But in Thailand, but it's hard. It's very hard. It's very disciplined. It's harder than Kundalini yoga, just because you at least get to move around with Kundalini yoga. And if you have to get up to go to the bathroom or anything, they don't care about that. I mean, they're not hardcore about that. Whereas Vedanta, I mean, that was super strict. And they didn't have the head monk with a cane or anything, but they were all in really super good shape. All their like 60s and 70s-year-old monks, because they were so disciplined in the way they sit and the way they meditate. I have felt it's different than hypnosis, and only because it's a meditative and it's the strength of the mind as well, the hypnosis. If I want to, on an everyday level, just meditate, where I want to be present in my life, I found TM to be really nice that way. It's really nice to be present right then. If I'm sick, like I got sick a few weeks ago, Everest had a cold, my little granddaughter had a cold, and and I can't help but let her in my face and everything. And and so I with that, I lost my voice, but I didn't get the cold because it was down in my chest, and I was like, no. So I do a lot of sound healing where I go really, really deep and listen to the sound of the planet, and I resonate my tone with the Earth's tone. And I'll teach anybody or help anybody who's sick, get to that place through hypnosis, or I can do it through hypnothesia. Doctor. I have an anesthesiologist who helped me, get you there.
Yeah.
And but yeah, it's that resonating in that tone to really work on if you need to get rid of something. You need to get rid of people or a sickness. That hypnosis is so great. But I do it really hardcore as self-hypnosis or I'm being guided, because I know it's really hard to stay in that self mode. So it's great to be guided into, like, you can do it, be your cheerleader. And and then I found that oneness is really great for other people. Like for me to give oneness to people, when I give oneness, there's a diksha. I can feel people's hearts and how twisted or sad or unbalanced they are. And so that's a lot of the process, is bringing your heart back into balance with your body and opening your heart chakra. So that's really a beautiful system as well. But I usually do that for other people. It's not so much that I'm sitting there doing it for myself. I like to do it for myself. And I really had some really great magical experiences because Patty Sanger, the Millionaire Matchmaker, and I did, she's one of my great friends, and we did 9 days where they were in the Oneness University in India praying and chanting and on a specific subject. And then we had that subject and we hooked in with them every night at 7:30 to 9, and we did it with them, and that was really fun. That was really super fun. I mean, really, I had so many visions and where I felt very connected, very powerful. It's almost like the coven idea of when there's a group of people who are praying together or creating that intention or synergy sourcing. Then all of a sudden, the intention becomes real. Yeah.
Wow. You use the word twisted, like describing someone's like heart energy. If they get into a twisted place, there. What do you associate with that? As far as that, is that when they become like jealous or like
can be just shy and unconnected and feeling just twisted about yourself, that you just can't get anywhere with anybody, the cashier at Starbucks, let alone a love relationship or a friendship, I found that, I just see when I'm working on people, I see kind of what their heart is, what the condition is. And everybody wanted to, when I was at the training for Gurudev, it was a healing training. And I had a lot of people who want to be my partner because I could naturally do it easily.
Sure.
What he was doing. And then you sent in him to create the wellness in other people. Yeah. And I don't know if we're doing that. I mean, because some people haven't really been well. Some of our great leaders in the world haven't been real well lately. And I'm thinking, maybe we take too much of their energy sometimes. We have to like give it back, sustain them as well. So the intention for me sitting with some of these people is creating sacred space. And then, I went to John of God, and absolutely adore John of God, and everybody that's down in Abidjanya love. And that's a hard, it's real Catholic, Portuguese, but you like it because it's just so ritualistic and it's so sci-fi. Like the whole thing is absolutely out of this world magical. And everybody wants to be cut or to have the Kellys up the nose, surgical Kellys. I mean, you're in the zone of becoming well. Excuse me, becoming well with John of God.
Right.
And he never touches you. He touches you when you first come to him. He touches everybody, which I felt really that, he's had such a strong mission on the earth since 1964. And he touches everybody's hand, and then you look directly into his eyes. That's the activation point. Right. But he touches everybody. He's so kind to everyone. I mean, after all these years, most people get so sick of having to touch people and to always be touching sick people. And he's really stayed pretty centered during all of it. Because, he's had a few marriages there. But, I contend they just can't take it. There's just too many people after him all the time. So.
Yeah, well, it's like, I mean, certainly one has to find the right partner who's willing to share their spouse, right?
Yeah.
It's like they would know. I would hope that they would know that it's not something that you can possess, like that this other person. It's like they have a mission. John of God has a purpose that's larger than himself, right? And
Yes.
and to be married to someone else, that person has to acknowledge that that they're not the only one who is like attracted to his energy, what people need from his what he has to offer. So yeah. I think that happens a lot with like people who become attracted to someone who is either famous or whatever. They want to just kind of take that and just be the only one who has it, right? But it's something that has to be in balance. That person needs to know that like the famous person or whatever is like that's their like role, right? That's their job, and it's to be out there in the world.
Right. Well, somebody said that to me in Sedona. We were all, there's a big table of us, and somebody said that, you're so famous compared to all of us, especially. And I was just like, well, you don't ever think of that. I'm not that famous, of course, but I believe in sincerity. That when you're doing your dharma upon the planet, that you learn to like it, that you embrace it, that you feel it's some kind of healing tool in some way, and and it could be banking. I mean, come on, it could be anything, cleaning. But everybody has a role, and we step into it. We step into it to, create our lives in a good way, not in a negative way. There's so many people who destroy themselves. There's so many people who make the wrong choice for themselves. I mean, it's so easy to make the right choice over the wrong choice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we all see it over and over. Our people who just are limited and jealous and, fighting their own nature and trying to become mindless, a lot of them, through drugs and alcohol. It's really interesting to see the mindless thing. I mean, rendering yourself mindless is an easy thing.
Yeah.
Like, why would we want to do it?
Do you think that
I'm the opposite.
Do you think that modern life can be overwhelming as far as?
I think so. I think that, we have a lot of communication, over communication. I think if you're watching the news, I think that basically it's scaring you out of your mind. Mm-hmm. To watch the news, to listen to people and put the fear into them. Not to say that you shouldn't be clear on, not walking down dark alleys and, weird parts of town or even good parts of town. But basically what you need to do is you need to, I would say you need to develop your psychic ability, just if nothing else, your gut level reaction thing.
Right.
So, if you feel it in your gut, then you know that, I'm not supposed to take a step forward here. I'm not supposed to take a step back, and I'm supposed to stay still. Mm-hmm. Stay still, mm-hmm. Stay home. Yeah. I mean, if it doesn't feel right, don't do it. If there's an inner knowing that we all have this radar. We're all animals, that we can actually develop all that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We've been socialized.
Do you think that, if everyone were to develop their intuitive ability to such a high degree that would put us out of a job?
Us? No, I don't think it could ever happen. I think that the earth plane is so negative as well as positive, and maybe it's that push-pull to, at least create movement, but right. No, and I was saying that, I believe that everybody's a clear-thinking human, that there's no confusion. Clear your mind. We were talking about meditation. But also it comes down to clearing your voice and being in sync with your voice, and then, matching your actions. You'll hear people say, I could have invented that, but, I thought it instead of acted on it. And the bottom line is that, and people don't always know how to do things. And this is a lot what I teach too, and what Jason and I do through our work, is help you see a little bit in your future to make that first step, not necessarily the finished product, because you may make different choices along your path, but there's steps that you can start taking. And it's not leaps into the unknown. These are steps. You take a step, and then all of a sudden you're always coming to a place where you need to make another choice. And, it's not to fear the unknown. It's to embrace your life, and that you're going to be okay, and you can take a step here and step there. And not to have regrets either. It's best not to have regrets.
Yeah, I see it too as just seeing that someone is aware of their own process, their own part in, their own decision making, making sure that they're seeing if their head and heart are aligned.
Yeah.
If they're within themselves, if they are aligned, if they're on the same page, and that's what can bring about the confidence of moving forward, right? Of the actions and all. When someone is like, okay, yeah, this is what I want to do, and I'm not fighting myself. I'm not trying to talk myself out of it.
Right. Solution oriented. You want a solution. We want to help you, give you that solution. Because a lot of psychics, they're just, talking to you about Uncle Harry and Auntie, Ethel. But, the bottom line is that no, I know that Jason and I are very solution oriented. We help you make decisions, create your talent, talk to you about your ideas. I think those are so important. I give 6 weeks, 6 week, sessions, and I know Jason does too, if you wanted anything like that, we're just open for, just to go forward with all of it. It's great.
Yeah, it's rewarding to see, someone who is able to, step into that awareness, right? Of again, their own process, their own, being able to make the choices for themselves, and know that, they're becoming, I guess, strengthening their own intuitive process. And I was kidding about, putting us out of a job, but
Yeah.
I mean,
Never gonna happen.
that's all right. I mean, everyone is at a different level in their own life. I'm at a different, level as far as where I was, a few years back. And yet, I'm still working on it, still growing, still seeing, kind of the next horizon there for me as well. And, it's a, just kind of ever moving, ever evolving process that, is it's a lot of fun. And
Yeah.
it's pretty hairy too, I mean, it has, there's those moments when the question marks, they can really come in, and the unknown can, just be a real force, that we have to rise up to, and say, you know what, I'm just going to move through this. I'm going to, I don't know, I can't see all of the things that are in front of me, but I'm just going to keep moving through it, and I'll be okay.
Yeah. And I guess that's maybe what we all just want to be okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Or better than okay. I mean,
Oh yeah, much better than okay. But but basically you want to be fulfilled, soothed, some contentment, some love, if not lots of love. Everybody wants that. And to be able to pay your bills just easily, if not, be wealthy with what you do. That the money just flows with that you create that synergy.
yeah, it's definitely a happy balance of all of these aspects of our life. And if we're too, concentrated in one area, that can throw the other areas off kilter. So it's important to have like the right balance for each, aspect, so we don't throw ourselves into a tizzy.
Right. Well, that tizzy, let's talk about the tizzy, because there's so many relationships that are off kilter. So many money issues, so many health issues. It's all about every relationship, even if it's a relationship between you and your body, is harmony and safety.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What keeps you safe? What keeps you in harmony? Yeah, like your body all works in tandem, harmoniously. Your blood, cells, organs, everything's in harmony. And how about with other people? The harmonious action. Not to say that you're going to get along with everybody. You're not. That's not reality. We have karma with people. We have things to do, and they help us grow. There's always growth involved. But where's the harmony and safety, especially in relationships, when you pick love relationships? Yeah, and it starts with you. It's not just the other person. You're thinking, oh, that other person doesn't keep me safe. Oh, that other person isn't harmonious. Well, it starts with you. And if they aren't in synergy with you, well, then you have to rethink your life.
Yeah, I mean, you have to rethink if they're the person that you're, dedicating yourself to, that you're choose to place, within their space.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. I mean, we could even go down to like, what is Jason teaching me? What do I teach Jason? Because everyone is a student until they become the teacher. I think that Jason and I have a lot of years under both of us as being the teacher. And Jason is a great producer too. Jason's produced all my CDs, and he does all the sound for me and all the artwork. So in MP3s and all the websites and different things. So Jason's a great producer, as well as being, these are just, we still keep going on. So I learn a lot from him at all times. And hopefully he learns from me too. But, it's that synergy of having good people around you and really appreciation. I have a lot of gratitude for my siblings and my family and my friends and my participants and clients. And, I walked into the bank yesterday. It's a funny example. I know everybody in the bank. And the other bank, my Santa Monica bank, oh, my God, it's a party. It's an absolute party. Yeah. And, when I go in, I love them all, and it's a party. But so is my Westlake branch. It's a party. And it was so fun. There was a new guy in there, didn't know me at all, but he just was like, oh, my God, who are you? I'm excited to meet you. And I thought, wow, this is just a teller, a really cute teller. And young, he's probably 20-something, me and the kids, I'll tell you. And I just told him a little bit. And I gave him my card. And he was like, he got out his crystal that he keeps in his pocket at all times. And he said, this is, I'm so into being in my divine space and walking my truth in life and stuff. Wow. And it's just like, oh my God, I just loved meeting this kid. Yeah. Oh yeah. And then another one of the tellers was like, oh my God, I want to come to a moon ritual. Yeah. So, it's cute. That's just from talking to these people. I mean, I don't tell them much. It's not, I'm just, and somebody said I'm always kind of happy. I said, oh, sweet.
Yeah, well, I mean, you ask what I've learned from you, right? I mean, and it is, your energy is contagious, right? It's like infectious. It's like you light up a room when you walk in, and this is something that certainly is, it's like a natural. You've always had it, right? It's not something that you just like developed, when you were 20 or whatever. It's like as a teenager, it's like you were always had the vivacious energy, right? And I think once you got out of the house,
yeah, I had to escape.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, there's more permission to just like kind of be that person in the world.
Yeah.
But it's kind of, I think what people see from that is like, it's a kind of a fearlessness, in the world. And, you may not be totally, fearless when you're like in situations and all that, but there's that willingness to just kind of, to fully be yourself out in the world. And that is inspirational. That is what, people can, draw from and learn to be more of themselves out in the world and to, not hold back.
Well, I can say that, because, I don't think of myself as vivacious or anything. I just think of myself as I take a step forward toward people, and I want to be sincere. That's my thought process.
Sure.
And so I always reach out to soothe someone instead of making a problem with them. Like I always smile. Even if people don't smile back, I don't care. I know that they carry it with them. I think that people need to be accepted on just an everyday level. And so it doesn't matter who they are. I talk to all sorts of people all the time, but I don't linger. It's just a hi, or it's just a sweetness. And I just think it permeates through their life too. Yeah. But it's a sincerity. I think that's what I learned noticed over the years, when I was around people who I felt were great teachers, but they weren't sincere. And it bugged me. It really bugged me that really you have this opportunity and you're not learning it to the next level. I really feel that to gain whatever we need upon the planet, it has to be on some kind of a giving level. Because when you give something, it's always returned tenfold, if not 100-fold.
Right. So it's not enough just to be a walking textbook.
No, it's not.
It's about the deeper connection there. It's about, the inspiration that one passes on to another person. It's about, it's like the whys of why you would, want to be a spiritual person. It's like just tapping into the depths of interaction and all, creating intimate bonds, with people, spiritual bonds with them.
Yes, very much so. Intimate, well, just not even intimate bonds, just camaraderie, just congenial, good life. Yeah.
Right.
So I want to say you can find Jason at www.jason, JASON, McKean, MCKEAN.com, or at OMDOG, it's OMDOG, OM.com.
Yes.
And I'm at tarasutphen.com, TARA Sutphen, SUTPHEN.com. And I haven't put it up yet, but we have Alaska's closed and to the public and now, and Florida will be open. Florida is February, I think it's the 4th. I'm not sure, but we'll give you that information. I think I put it, I have the information to put it out there. My co-hypnosis teacher is going to be Shannon Feather. So in February, we will be in Pompano Beach, Florida. And that's my really next big seminar. So we will start advertising that if you want to be a hypnotist or a spiritual counselor even. I have a whole different fun stuff for that. And Jason, any fun psychic fairs or anything for you right now?
Yes. Yeah, I have a charity on Sunday there in Silver Lake. It's Muddy Paw Coffee, and it's benefits kittens. Meow. Kittens that are Muddy Paw. There's a bunch of psychics there. I'll be there from noon to 3. And that's
okay. So Sunday. Muddy Paws.
Muddy Paw Coffee.
Muddy Paw Coffee.
Yeah, they benefit other
charities.
Awesome. Animals, just animals. So thank you. Love you, sister, for having me today. And,
yes, lots of love, everybody. Blessings. Thank you, Jason, very much. Blessings. Love you.
Thank you for sharing your time with Tara Sutphen. Find out more about Tara's work, upcoming seminars, and meditations to help you fulfill your dreams by visiting her website at tarasutphen.com.